Good morning, coffee and sports. We are wrapping up the season replay for the NFL 2002 Oakland Raiders and the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to wrap them up this morning in one video using Football Time Special Edition, and I'm going to use, for these final games to get on to the playoffs, I'm going to use the instant results chart. So let's go ahead and get these written down. So we're gonna finish up 6 games this morning, wrapping up the Raiders and Tampa Bay's season replay, and then I will play, depending on their record, I'll try to play out their exact. If it's plausible that the Raiders could still be the best team in the conference, I'll play it out that way. Tampa is on the verge of being eliminated already. Tampa Bay is 7-6. They just lost their second game to Atlanta. This one 27-7. So Atlanta swept the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. A pick six opened the game. Brad Johnson threw a pick six, and Tampa was chasing Atlanta the whole game. All right, so we're going to be doing instant results for these though. So we're going to have Tampa Bay at Detroit, and we're going to have Raiders at Miami, Oakland at Miami. Okay, so let's go ahead and get Tampa Bay. We know Tampa Bay's a CD. Detroit is a DF. So DF, Tampa Bay was a CA. So again, looking at the chart, C versus F, it's going to be a B for Tampa Bay, and Detroit is a DA. They're going to definitely be an F. All right, Oakland, we know, is an AB, and Miami. Where's Miami? Miami is a BB. Not bad. All right, so the Raiders against this defense will be a B today, and Miami against this defense, B versus B, will be a C. All right, here we go. And this instant results table is very simple. You're just going to roll to see what this final score is for each team. So Tampa Bay, using the B chart, we're going to use green for Tampa and white for Detroit. It's going to be B and F. So Tampa Bay is going to score 17. Detroit, 3 on the F charts, is going to score 10, and that game's over. Tampa Bay will win. They'll be 8-6, and they will have won that one 17-10, and this is in FTDEIR, instant results. So these are Football Time Special Edition, Special Edition instant results. Special Edition right there. All right. Raiders are looking at the B chart versus C. Raiders are going to get 3. That's 21 points. And they're going to give up on the C chart 17. Raiders are going to find a way. Let's come over here to the Raiders. All right, so the Raiders are going to hold on to beat Miami. That makes them 11-3. And they win 21-17 in Football Time Special Edition instant results. All right, not bad. Next week, we're going to have the Raiders will go first this time. Denver. Raiders will be at Denver. No, I take that back. Denver at Raiders. At Oakland. These two teams met earlier in the season, and the Raiders beat them 24-0 in Football Time Definitive Edition. This is Special Edition. All right, so Oakland we know is an AB. Denver is a BC. So decent offense, not so hot defense. So B versus B for Denver. B versus B for Denver. Let's see. B versus B. C for Denver in today's game. The Raiders are A versus C. A versus C is A. So the Raiders will have their A going. All right, here we go again. Denver will be the first roll. I'm sorry, the higher rated team and the lower rated team. So here we go. Denver's looking at 3 on the C charts. They're going to score 17. Raiders 6, 42. Nice. So the Raiders will win 42-17. They won 24-0 earlier. This one 42-17. Whoops, that makes the Raiders 12-3. 42-17 in football time special edition. Instant results. One game left for the Raiders. Let's go ahead and do Tampa Bay's next game. Oh, Pittsburgh. It's going to be Pittsburgh at Tampa. Tampa Bay has absolutely thrashed all the AFC North teams by a combined score of 52-12. So we'll see if they can hammer Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they are BC, and Tampa Bay is a CA. So again, B versus A, I think is going to be a D on these charts, but we double check. All right, so B at A is D. Pittsburgh a D. Tampa Bay C and C is a C. So Tampa still has a slight edge. Tampa is the higher team is green. So Pittsburgh's on the D chart. 3 on the D chart, 14 points for for Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay 3 on C is going to get 17. They're going to edge out Pittsburgh by a Grammatica field goal. They're going to be 9-6. Man, I was so worried about them there for a minute. They're going to win this one 17-14. Football time special edition instant results. All right, in the last week of the season for both of these, and this will wrap up my 2002 NFL Raiders replay and my 2002 Tampa Bay replay. It looks like Tampa, if they can go 10-6, I could see them. They were at Philadelphia, so I could see them. If they can go 10-6, I would assume that they're going to still play San Fran and Philly. The Raiders are 12-3. In real life, they finished 11-5. So the Raiders, no matter what, already have a better record than they would have in real life. So the Raiders will get to be at home the whole playoff as they were in real life as well, because the Raiders at 11-5 were better than the other teams they met. And I don't see why that would change. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Tampa Bay's game first this time. At Chicago. Whew. At Chicago. All right, here. Come on. There we go, matchup chart. Okay, Tampa Bay we know is CA. Chicago is DD. Not a great Chicago team here. All right, so C versus D is going to be C for Tampa Bay. Chicago is D versus A. They're going to be an F today. So again, this is Tampa Bay, higher rated, lower rated. Let's go ahead and do it. Instant results charts. Find out what happens here. C charts for Tampa 3. Wow, their final 3 games, they average 17 points a game. Chicago on F is going to score 10 against that defense. So, not bad. Tampa Bay is going to finish 10-6, and they're going to win that one 17-10. Football Time Special Edition instant results, and Tampa Bay now ready to play in the playoffs versus San Francisco Raiders. Final game is against their arch rival, their nemesis, their old AFL rival from back in the day, the Kansas City Chiefs. The team we love to hate as Raider fans, the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's been very easy to dislike the Chiefs the last 7 years, as they have been damn good. And so it's been easy to hate the Chiefs for me. Kansas City, though, this is not them. Actually, this is a good Kansas City team. This is a Priest Holmes and Green. Yep, look at this, AD. So they're an AD. They got Priest Holmes. The Raiders are AB. So A versus B for Kansas City. A versus B is B. Kansas City, they beat us, I think, this year. Yes, they beat us 34-28 in Big Country Football Time version 4.5. Oakland, A versus D. We're going to be an A team. So we have got to win this at home to get revenge. and that would make us 13-3. In real life, we were 11-5, so we're already better than we were. Let's roll those dice. Here we go. Instant results charts are back here before the off-season charts. Here we go. So again, the higher rated team is green, lower rated team is white. And here we go. Kansas City is going to score 6 on B, 35. Oakland 5 on A, 35. We're got a tie game, and there is no way to break that tie because it's going to be on my charts. Not rare, but it's wow, holy cow, tie game. And look at this. In football time, Big Country 4.5, they beat us 34-28. This time it's a 35-35 tie. Dang, we see a tie. The Raiders go 12-3-1 and a 35-35 tie, special edition. So, fortunately, we aren't going to see KC. I don't know how it is, but we did not see KC in the playoffs. So based on records, I think we can let it stand. The real life rematches. The Raiders will host New York Jets, and then they'll host, if they win that, they'll host the Tennessee Titans. And then, of course, they'll play Tampa in the Super Bowl if Tampa makes it. Tampa will host San Francisco, but then they're going to play Philly. Philly beat them this year 24-7 in the original remastered football time. So Philadelphia beat them pretty good. In the free version that comes with this group of charts, it's right here. The original remastered games are in my notebook. So there it is, folks. We have wrapped up the NFL 2002 team replays, and now I'll play out with the same. So what's going to happen now, you ask? Jason, now what will you do for your the most important games of the year? I will be using the full D66 charts. So I'll be using Football Time Special Edition, the full games. So I'll be playing those games out to their full completion. And that is how we will wrap up this fantastic project. This project was fun. It started with my 2002 set from Drive Time Football. And then I decided that I would like to play all of my fast play games, basically. So we got Drive Time Football, Drive Time Football, and Drive Time Football. And over here, we had Drive Time Football, Drive Time Football. Whoops, did I write that in the wrong spot? Oh, no, I didn't. Drive Time Football, Drive Time Football, Drive Time. So I played a lot more Drive Time Football. So, I was going to say, why is it Drive Time Football? And this was an overtime Drive Time Football. There we go. And then we had a bye week. I was like, why is that so little games? So we started with Drive Time Football. The Raiders were 5-0 in Drive Time Football. And then I decided I would try some other of my fast play games, using all my different Football Time versions. Original Remastered, Big Country Football Time, Football Time Definitive Edition, Football Time Special Edition, Drive Time Football Raw, and Time Sports Complete Football as well. So quite a few different versions. And then this was the Football Time Special Edition Instant Result Charts for those last few. So pretty sweet. And I would argue between all the games, pretty darn accurate. The Raiders were much better than they were in real life. They were 4-4 at one point in real life. In my game, they were 8-1 at one point. The irony is they lost in Big Country Football Time to Kansas City, but they won all the other games in Drive Time Football and in Football Time Definitive Edition. So the Raiders won a couple of games they shouldn't have won using Drive Time Football, Football Time Definitive, and Original Remastered. So 4 games they lost. They went 3-1. And they won in those 3 of those games. They didn't in real life using different games as well. Tampa Bay, in real life, I think finished 12-4. So they had a rough time. They started a losing streak. They lost 4 or 5 games Then righted the ship against Carolina and Green Bay, and then lost to New Orleans and Atlanta. And in real life, they didn't lose to New Orleans, I believe. I can't remember what happened to Atlanta, but they dropped to as low as 7-6. And I thought for sure they would not. I wouldn't probably replay these, but no, they get back on track against Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Chicago, and that record would be good enough to host San Fran and go on the road against Philly. I don't see why not. And over here, the Raiders will host New York and Tennessee. The Raiders again started really strong. They had a period in the middle there where they were 2-2 in 4 weeks, and then they lost 1.5 games in their final 6, tying Kansas City 35-35 in the final game, which was on this video. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. This has been the 2002. This is not a doubleheader. This is a I don't know what the term is. Sextuple. I don't know what the word is for 6 header. Shoot, I'd have to look that up in on the computer what that is. Sextuple, I don't know how you say that. 6. Anyway, 6 games in one video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye bye.